I'm Brickroad, and this is Let's Play the second quest of Castlevania IV at super speed. I want to talk a little bit about Simon's whip. If you hold down the whip button, he'll hold his whip out in front of him, and in that state it will continue to damage monsters, like I'm doing with this skeleton right here. He'll just continually walk back and forth, and whenever he's standing next to the whip he takes damage until he dies. This is useful for hitting monsters that are kind of outside Simon's normal range, ones that are directly below him or at an odd angle. And if you use the D-pad while holding the whip out, you can swing it around in different directions, which is useful for hitting monsters that kind of fly around and are difficult to get a bead on. This is a technique I'll be using to kill some monsters, especially in the second half of the game, when the stage layouts start to get a little more complex. The ability to whip in multiple directions and the ability to hold it and swing it around, it really gives Simon a lot of offensive capabilities that weren't available in the first couple of Castlevania games. There's a lot more strategy. You can kind of pick your own battles, how you want to approach monsters when you fight them. And that's a lot better than just, you whip straight forward and that's all you get. Stage 4 has two bosses, and the first one is coming up in, just another screen or two here. Right here. He's a giant creepy skeleton with a crazy tongue. My basic strategy for him is he's going to die so quickly, so just ignore the damage you take from him. That's it. He's dead. Wonderful. So we're going into the next part of the stage in the second half, and this is one of those rooms that I think is, it's a great idea. The rotating level idea is just phenomenal, but they never put it to good use. Like they had the conveyor belt rivers in stage 2, but they don't ever use that again. They don't ever use this idea again either. And I can't imagine why. It would be such a great idea for an entire level built this way, where the walls become the floor and the ceilings become walls, and navigating around, and maybe even in non-linear fashion would be very cool. But no, all they do with it is you have to stand there and whip some Medusa heads, and then it rotates back into place, and then a platform appears, and I don't know, it's just a missed opportunity, really. They never do anything cool with it. You do have to just kind of swing back and forth, because if you let go, it's instant death on the spikes or in the hole or anywhere else. Whatever. Kind of a cool graphical effect in this stage with the revolving background, and you've got those pink splotches as they go past, and occasionally skeletons will jump out of there. You'll see the platforms off to the left of the screen, off the edge of the screen, are dropping off. That's actually not dangerous. That only happens when they reach the edge of the screen. It's kind of to build tension. It's not like if you stand perfectly still, eventually it'll catch up with you and you'll fall. That might be a lie, because I've never actually stood still and just waited for it, but I'm pretty sure that you're not in any danger. It's just to make sure you continue moving forward. The last part of Stage 4 here, again, with some cool graphical effects that could not have been done on the NES. Yeah, that's kind of the theme of Stage 4, is, hey, let's show off the cool graphic stuff that we can do now that we couldn't do a couple years ago. You've got the whole background layer, which is completely solid and moving upwards continuously, kind of like a whole elevator. And it makes the level a little difficult, because it's very easy to get crushed. Simon is a little more agile than he used to be, but he's not any faster. So if you don't really know which way you're going, it's easy to get caught under one of those blocks and crushed to death. But again, it's kind of a dead end. Wrong way, Bricker. Good job. Anyway, it's a kind of a boring level. This is another great idea for a stage, having a static foreground and then a moving background, and you have to navigate both at once. But they don't really do anything interesting with it. It's just this one elevator section. There's no monsters in it, nothing to fight. After you learn how to avoid getting crushed, you're pretty much home free. And there's kind of in many platformers, a progression of skills that you learn. For example, in this level, you'll learn not to get crushed by the blocks. In the next level, it gives you blocks plus monsters to fight. And this part here, you just walk forward and you won't get touched by the spikes. But that's it. That's the last you'll ever see those elevator platforms again for the entire game. And that's really a missed opportunity. So, I don't really understand that in this game. Why introduce a cool effect that has some very interesting gameplay ideas behind it, and then only use it in an introductory sense, and here's what we can do, but we're not going to do it anymore kind of sense. And same thing with this boss. It starts out gigantic, great graphical effect, and the more you hit it, it gets smaller and smaller, and more difficult to hit. As you can see, my strategy pretty much hasn't changed. It's boomerang it to death. But his size really doesn't have a lot of implication on the battle. It's just, we're going to show off the graphics that we can do, and then not really use them in an interesting way. And that's kind of characteristic of early Super Nintendo games. Well, here we go. We're approaching actual castle now, which we'll see in the next video, Stage 5.